All right, welcome everybody into another edition of Pillar to Post here on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Mike Gill, Tom Morgan here after a week hiatus.
No theme music? I got a theme song? I entered
listen, there's some music.
The crowd is shocked. Oh my God, he's back. My God, my God.
He's back.
This is all
we were
in my
off
head.
last week.
This is all in my brain.
By the way, hit that logo either here or over here and subscribe to the show. All right, Fastlane was the pay-per-view between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. So it's always kind of stuck in the middle, that February pay-per-view, if you will. Used to be Elimination Chamber.
I missed that pay-per-view. Yeah.
This Fastlane, it was really cheesy, just all the way down to the graphics and the zzz.
Yeah, right.
That was pretty lame. What did we learn coming out of Fastlane that we actually like going into WrestleMania?
Well, we've got a few official matches because of Fastlane. Number one, we know that Sting's going to be battling Triple H, which is no surprise there. That's official. Sting, something about Sting and his bat, raising and looking toward the WrestleMania logo was really cool, and it was kind of like finally.
I like how they have him not talking still.
I love it, and they did and we'll talk about Raw in just a few minutes, but they did a tribute to Sting last night that compared today to his run against the NWO, so obviously they're going with that same type of feel. So anyways, we know that. We also know that Roman Reigns is going to be wrestling Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We kind of knew that was going to happen. It was a clean match, no interference. It's interesting how Daniel Bryan's kind of getting into this story. I'd like to see what they are going to do with that, but who knows?
Well, right, and we had kind of said earlier, like, hey, I don't like the way they're trying to force Daniel Bryan into it. It's funny, we were at Royal Rumble, and we didn't like the way that they were stripping that away from Roman Reigns. He had earned it, and then they were trying to, but it gave you a reason to watch this pay-per-view. I thought the pay-per-view overall was pretty bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Did not keep my attention. The opening match I thought was horrendous. The six-man tag, I thought they just
all in the name of
that
Randy
together.
Orton returning. Yeah.
Orton comes back. But then on Monday Night Raw, they put Orton back in a team on the Authority with Seth Rollins. So it seemed like that was an obvious match. How do they split those two back up? Obviously, Orton's probably going to have to turn on them in some capacity. But I thought the Fastlane pay-per-view, I thought it was sloppy. I thought it was just thrown together. I thought the Goldust-Stardust matchup, here's two guys, that, they're brothers. I thought it was, there was a story, and the match was just sloppy. I don't know if the referee messed up. Did he not count? I mean, what the heck was that whole thing?
Yeah, he just kind of went 1, 2, and then, it didn't even hit
He never hit.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if maybe that was going to be a storyline they would address that in Raw. They never did.
They never did.
It was a mistake. It was a very sloppy mess. And I think the storyline, I'm still going to go with Goldust returning as Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania. That's just my theory. I think this whole thing with Stardust and Cody Rhodes and getting the character involved in your head, and I think it's all going to play a big part of it. But a very sloppy match indeed. I think for the WWE Network to offer this pay-per-view for free, because you get if you subscribe, you get the first month free or whatever. It was almost like a Monday Night Raw. I mean, it really was.
A lot of long promos. I mean, I'm a fan of the Sting stuff.
Sure.
That's a long promo. The Bray Wyatt coming out as the Undertaker music, that was a long promo.
Yeah.
A lot of long promo, more Monday Night Raw than pay-per-view material. I didn't like the Fastlane pay-per-view at all. I thought it was I literally thought I would give it like a C- to a D. The Sting stuff kind of saved it if you like that.
And that was probably the reason why people wanted to watch Fastlane, was to see the Sting Triple H confrontation. WWE really wasn't trying to make a whole lot of money. They were trying to get more subscribers to the WWE Network. I mean, that's why it's called a pay-per-view. And they thought the pay-per-view, it really wasn't a pay-per-view. So,
no,
not at all. And now you're going to get the first match at Fastlane. You're going to see that on SmackDown. You're going to be seeing Kane in the Big Show and Seth Rollins battle Dolph Ziggler.
It was bad on Fastlane. I don't want to see it again.
It's going to be the main event on SmackDown now.
Let's get to the Raw rundown here, man. This is we have 5 weeks left now. Actually, 4 weeks now for the road to WrestleMania. They got a lot of loose ends. They still need to tie up here. Obviously, Triple H against Sting. We're going to see that. We're going to see Rusev against John Cena now, which I thought was another just shoddy match at Fastlane.
Right.
fluky finish there with him getting kicked in the groin. I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. Entering Fastlane, I thought they had an opportunity to make that something cool. Mm-hmm. I left saying, all right, you really need to do a good job. Get me to WrestleMania. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania is on the way.
It doesn't. It's just kind of a sloppy start to Rusev and John Cena, that whole storyline. I mean, let's face it, right after the Royal Rumble, they just kind of went face-to-face because Rusev interrupted an interview with John Cena. All of a sudden, oh, boom, now they've got a huge feud. There really wasn't a whole lot of build-up with this, and I think the WWE dropped the ball with that. That being said, we are going to see Rusev versus John Cena. I thought the promo for this match and making it official for WrestleMania was really good. I think this is really good for Rusev. I think John Cena, all the American flag stuff. I'm doing this for the United States of America. I'm going to take the United States Championship back to the United States.
It's an easy angle.
It's an easy angle. He's a good soldier guy, that sort of thing. He's big with the Marines and the troops. So I think this was a very good promo. But we are talking about Monday Night Raw, so let's get to the start of it. Randy Orton and his return.
I thought he looked good coming back. I mean, obviously they need some upper card star power. He's never going to blow you away on the mic. But I'm interested. I'm assuming him and Rollins end up doing something at WrestleMania. That would be an intriguing match. How they're going to get there. I guess there's a couple of ways. Obviously, he's kind of, hey, yeah, I'll meet with you, Stephanie. Right. And then obviously they can, they have 4 weeks to try to separate those two guys. But why do that? Why not just let that thing build up for the next 4 weeks instead of making it an obvious-looking turn? Mm-hmm. So that was a little iffy to me, but they need some upper, top of the card guys, and obviously Orton's one of the best. So it was good to see him finally come back after, he had been out for 4 months? Yeah, he'd been wrestling some house shows. Sure, but nothing. But it was television. Weird.
4 months. It just seems like yesterday he was gone. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 months, but that was November, right?
Yeah, November. He got the curb stop, and he was out for a while.
He was out for a while. So it's also going to be interesting. We keep talking about this every episode on Pillar to Post, is when is Seth Rollins going to cash in that Money in the Bank? So now you've got
How do you get that off of him?
You got that sort of a feud going on with Randy Orton now, so it's safe to assume that he's going to wrestle Randy Orton, but he still has to cash in that briefcase. I'm still thinking he'll probably cash it in toward the end of that Roman Reigns-Brock Lesnar match.
What's interesting, too, is there's some reports that Brock Lesnar was supposed to be on Monday Night Raw, right, and that there's some problems between him and the WWE right now. Yeah, how's that all going to play in? His contract's supposedly up right after WrestleMania. That's going to look terrible. Yeah, much like when he fought Goldberg, and everybody knew his contract was up,
off the crowd,
and the crowd was going bananas when they knew his contract was up. You can't have that situation, I don't think, come up this time. They got to figure something out here. So apparently there is some friction between Lesnar and the WWE. He was supposed to be on Raw Monday night and never made it to television.
Yeah,
That's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. And it was a hell of a promo from Paul Heyman as usual, but you needed to have Brock Lesnar in there, and he was on his private jet. He was in Nashville. He was backstage, so we'll have to see what happens with that. We move on to the very first match of the night, Bad News Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler.
I guess they're putting Ziggler in the Intercontinental, mix here, and Ziggler's a great performer. I don't know what they're doing with Barrett. He loses by DQ the other night. Now he gets the belt. Ambrose stole the belt from him. They have R-Truth on commentary here. I don't know that this bodes well for Bad News Barrett's reign.
Well, what was interesting is you saw Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose look at each other, obviously, with Dean Ambrose having the Intercontinental.
Well, that would be a fun fight.
So that was after the match, of course, with Bad News Barrett. So I've got a feeling we're going to see R-Truth, Dean Ambrose, Bad News Barrett, and Dolph Ziggler.
I don't need a four-way between those guys. I really don't. I mean,
make it a ladder match. Make it interesting.
Well, you would have put Ambrose against Ziggler. I'm okay with that. But then what are you doing with Barrett? I mean, seems like just a lost guy right now.
Sure. And, Barrett's still the champion. Dolph has a stolen title, but Barrett, you got to have Barrett in there. After that, we move on. Seth Rollins backstage with the rest of the Authority. They had their little business meeting. Randy Orton officially a part of the Authority, whatever you want to call it. And then we get ourselves the Primetime Players against the Ascension.
Well, I mean, it was nice to see Darren Young come back. He looks a little different. Maybe they have him a little different look to him. They put those two guys back together. But the Ascension, who hadn't lost, loses to these two guys.
Yeah, really.
It was like, I don't get it. I don't care one way or the other. I think they've already ruined the Ascension. I mean, this is, you have new blood. You're running them in a nice direction, and then you have them lose to those two guys. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Ascension. And I got a feeling with these tag team titles on a guy like Titus O'Neil and Cesaro. I don't think we're going to see another Usos versus Titus O'Neil and Cesaro. I think we might see the tag team champions, Usos, Ascension, and maybe the primetime players. Add that in there for flavor. I'm in this like 4-way dance mindset here. It's very TNA-ish. But anyways, we move on to the big promo of Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan coming into the ring. Roman Reigns still a little shaky on the microphone until Paul Heyman comes out.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman always brings out the best in people. Roman Reigns did a lot better job once Paul Heyman was in the ring.
He did, and I thought he was much more composed. I liked the way he cut it. He said, hey, Paul, stand right there.
Yeah, right.
I want you to doubt me. I like the way they're kind of making him like me against everybody. I will beat him. Look, I don't know how you can get a compelling match if you know that contract's out there.
Right.
I think that's going to be interesting to see how they end up spinning that whole thing. Now, apparently Lesnar, as we said, was supposed to be on the show. They had a lot of rewrites that led up, and they decided not to use him. They used Heyman instead. We had talked before, would Heyman end up pairing with Reigns up against Lesnar? Is there some sort of feeling that maybe Heyman is laying the groundwork to try to, hey, I would take you in any capacity, and you can't beat him without me.
Right.
So over the next 4 weeks, do we see Heyman somehow turn on Lesnar if they can't figure out this contract thing, and then they have their biggest star with their best talker?
Yeah, and we got kind of a history lesson with Heyman. I love his promos. I mean, he was like saying, I would put my money on Roman Reigns if you were against Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. 1986. He goes into 1996 with Austin. He goes on to 1998 with The Rock. He goes on to 2000 with Triple H. I'd put my money on Roman Reigns, but you will never beat this beast. It was a hell of a promo, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't see Heyman with a face, but I think people are going to still cheer on Heyman regardless of who he's managing, unless it's, Curtis Axel.
You interested in that WrestleMania main event?
I like what they've done with Roman Reigns now, because when he won the Royal Rumble, obviously a lot of people were very upset. It was just a really bad push. Now that they've cleanly had him beat Daniel Bryan,
and then Bryan has kind of said, "Hey, you were better than me."
Right? And it's
it's
going to be interesting what they do with Daniel Bryan. I don't think you're going to see him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You're going to see him actually wrestle.
That's a good question, though. Where does he go now?
Right.
I mean, look, there's only so many top level guys. You have Cena, who's in the mid card right now. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do with Daniel Bryan from here? Who is you've got Sting and Triple H. That's already set.
Sure.
You've got Brock already set. Now Rollins is still out there. Orton is still out there. Is there some sort of three-way thing with this?
Yeah.
For what? What is the stipulation? Is it? Yeah. Do they put the briefcase up for grabs?
It's a good idea. It's a great idea, actually. I mean, you could do that. I just really hope Daniel Bryan's not wrestling a handicap match versus Kane and Big Show.
And Sheamus could be coming back.
Sheamus could be coming back. You know what?
Well, not could be. Definitely is coming back.
Maybe Daniel Bryan's got a match against Sheamus. That was rumored for a while. Now we've got, moving on to the WWE Tag Team title match, the Usos versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. The Usos revoking their rematch clause in it in a DQ, and the Usos won, but you're still Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. A little friction going on between Naomi and Natalya, pushing the Divas and the E stuff. I'm happy for Tyson Kidd. We didn't see him a whole lot. Cesaro deserves to have a title of some capacity around his waist, but I think this is still a little soon. And the Usos had quite a hell of a run leading up to this too.
Yeah, and the Usos have had it for a while.
Yeah.
It seems like any time
I thought they were going to keep it till WrestleMania. That's what I thought it was.
Well, but anytime there's a tag team match, it seems like these two guys are getting thrown out there. So it's nice to see some new blood out there.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, it's stale. It's what is the WWE going to? Are they going to prop the tag team titles back up? I mean, we've seen it for a while with the IC belt, the tag team belts. They almost have no meaning to them anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, they don't. I mean, it kind of comes and goes. It's like high and low, like after a while, it's like, oh, we got really hit on this tag team title stuff.
They could have a better division.
And they could. I mean, look, there was a time where the tag team titles were like one of the hottest things, and you had the Dudleys and the Hardys and all those guys, and they're just lacking
this is where you get afraid, like if you're watching NXT on the network and the amount of talent that's down there, those guys, if they put them right onto the main roster right now, those would be more compelling stories. You bring in Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
These guys would be guys that you would want to see, but you're just afraid that they're going to get ruined if they get thrown into into the mix.
Well, you're afraid you're going to get guys like the Ascension, but it all comes down to WWE creative. The Ascension wasn't the Ascension back at NXT. They weren't doing what this stuff that they're doing now. So it all comes down to properly creative push and letting them grow.
Well, they were the longest reigning NXT tag team champions, and then they end up losing to the Lucha Dragons, who apparently are on their way up here shortly too. So I'm not sure. I don't know what their plan is with the NXT guys, because apparently they're talking about NXT touring and being its own brand now. It's almost its own separate entity, and apparently there's a lot of friction between the main roster guys and the NXT guys by them saying, look, these guys are getting all the freedom to kind of be the characters that they want to be, and we're stuck up here, and we can't be the guys that we want. I think it's a very interesting dynamic.
It's tough, I think, and I love when we were watching Jim Ross and his one-man show before the Royal Rumble, JR was saying, if you really want to see the future of WWE, watch NXT.
Sure, absolutely.
It's proper writing, it's great pushing,
And they only have an hour, so that changes things, too.
And then you have these guys who come into the WWE, and they kind of change things up a little bit. We move on to Stardust versus We, the People, Jack Swagger. It's nice to see Jack Swagger on TV again, but Stardust, they're continuing that storyline between him and his brother.
Yeah, they got his dad involved, too. Dusty's in there, and I feel like, they're kind of really trying to use that angle to get you involved. This old bag of bones has been following me around for a while, this old Attitude Era reject.
Yeah.
I hope the match they had at Fastlane was a terrible match.
Yeah.
I think they have a better match in them at WrestleMania.
For two brothers who've wrestled for their entire lives, they should have put on a much better match. I mean, who knows? Maybe
no doubt.
Maybe they're saving the best for WrestleMania. I'm not sure. But Jack Swagger gets the win. The fans were taunting Stardust with the Cody chant, which was pretty funny, and Stardust is kicking and screaming all over the ring. Goldust saying, "I told you so," which goes along with my theory. Dustin Rhodes, he's losing the Goldust stuff, and Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania, but that's just my theory. All right, we move on to, of course, the Cena and Rusev promo. We talked about that earlier. That's official. Rusev versus John Cena for WrestleMania.
I mean, it's okay. Rusev, at some point, he hasn't lost yet.
Right.
Are they building him to be a champion, WWE champion? He's got the US title. Are they going to give that to?
Yeah.
Are they going to finally have him lose and give that to Cena? What the heck is Cena going to do with the US championship? I don't understand. I understand putting Cena down the card a little bit just to try, but why would you have him feud with a guy who's got a mid-card belt?
I think it's the whole United States-ness thing.
They're not really playing that all that much.
Well, they did last night. They really hit up on that. And there was a while that we thought, there was rumors going around, of course, we're internet guys, that the United States Championship was going to turn into the European Championship, that Rusev had it. There was a while that was going on. So I think there's that whole USA versus Russia thing that they're trying to do. I think it's great for Rusev. He was the runner-up to win the Royal Rumble, if you remember, and they're really trying to let him build, and I think that it's going to be good for him. John Cena, I'm just happy he's not wrestling for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
I'll tell you what, though, you can hate him all you want, and you can, say that you're happy, but
he's the best thing they got.
It's not the same without him. It just doesn't. He gives the feel of a big match.
Right.
When he's not in it, it doesn't feel the same. Yeah. I'm telling you, that Fastlane pay-per-view, to have Daniel Bryan against Reigns just was lacking.
Yeah. Well, and of course, WWE played it off like it was the greatest match ever throughout Monday Night Raw.
It was a good match.
Yeah,
it was a good match.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great match. And again, I'm telling you, Fastlane was a throwaway. I mean, this was a free pay-per-view. You got it at the WWE Network. All you had to do is say, yes, I'm in, and then cancel after that month. It was like a fill-in Monday Night Raw on a Sunday night. Paige and Emma versus the Bella Twins. Bella Twins win. Your girl Paige loses. And we move on from there.
Poor Paige.
Yeah.
She's very talented. They got a lot of talent at the women's division. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Rumor has it
by the way, no one's watching Total Divas. I mean, the ratings have been terrible.
You know what's funny?
Terrible.
From the guy who works at Sojo 1049, a lot of my listeners are watching it. Because when I talked wrestling with Heather DeLuca, I was talking about possibly interviewing Chris Jericho. And she was like, yeah, I watch Total Divas all the time. It's really interesting what they're trying to do to like get the women demographic.
The ratings
involved.
have been bad.
ratings are still bad regardless, and they're still renewing the seasons.
And they got good talent down at the NXT division. Sasha Banks is very good.
Yeah.
Bayley's very good.
Right.
Becky Lynch is very good. Obviously, Charlotte's very good. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're talented.
They only had Charlotte on like one night. Was it the Raw reunion or something like that? With
about
Ric
a couple
Flair?
weeks ago, she fought Natalya.
Yeah, and she was great.
She lost the belt at NXT, so you would think that was a precursor for her coming
great. She looked great that night. I don't know what happened. And of course, it's official. The Bushwhackers are officially in the WWE Hall of Fame. I love it.
They don't scream Hall of Famer to me. I'm sorry. This class has been kind of weird.
It's probably why it took them this long to get in, but I think they deserve it. I mean, they were great favorites in the late 80s.
Rikishi's not a Hall of Famer either, by the way. Nor is his ass.
I think his ass alone should be in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty epic. Curtis Axel versus Ryback, former tag team partners. You remember Rybaxel? It was interesting to see Curtis Axel come back with his hashtag Axelmania shirt. It looked like a Hulkamania shirt, and now he's got that. And he also has his trunks looking like the WrestleMania logo, so it says Axelmania. So he's really playing off that whole I should be in the WrestleMania. He got squashed by Ryback. By the way, Curtis Axel's officially in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal match as well as Ryback. One thing that we forgot to mention, Miz is also going to be in that Battle Royal as well. So I guess I'm
surprised they didn't set up a Mizdow match at
they still
WrestleMania.
Could. They still could. Or maybe, Mizdow turns on the Miz at the Battle Royal and he wins the trophy. Anything's possible there. But it seems
that thing's gone awry now. He's not the stunt double, he's the assistant.
Right. And he didn't even mimic the Miz at all in their promo. It was just a regular, servant. And that was the best thing about the whole thing. And then, of course, we go to the main event. Seth Rollins and Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan.
Obviously, we talked about a little while ago, Orton's going to have to turn on Rollins. Otherwise, who's he going to match up with at WrestleMania? I mean, you got to have two of these guys in a pretty high-level match at WrestleMania. Obviously, your main event right now, I would assume, is Sting Triple H. Yeah. Would be the way they close it out.
Yeah.
But this is going to have to be right up either the opener or somewhere towards the end. I don't know what they're doing with Undertaker. So this match here, I mean, of this match, one of them is already in the main event. Mm-hmm. But is that match going to be the last match on the card? The Reigns.
If Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar, yes, and which is most likely. Most of the time, when you have wrestlers like him who've never won a championship before, they usually close out WrestleMania with the confetti falling and all that stuff. Good point. Roman Reigns beats him. This again, we go back to the briefcase though. Nobody's talking about the briefcase. You got less than 5 weeks away till WrestleMania. When do you cash in the briefcase? You got to cash it in before the end of WrestleMania, right? Is that how it works?
No, you have 1 year from the money in the bank.
1 year, the money in the bank. Okay. So didn't he win he won the briefcase, the money bank, so he gets 1 year between those two. Okay. Yeah. All right, so then maybe he doesn't cash at WrestleMania then.
He's run out of time.
I stand corrected there. Yeah. I thought he had to do it before WrestleMania, but I guess I'm wrong. So, anyways, we go to that. Orton playing little mind games. He did an RKO on poor Joey Mercury. And instead of RKOing Seth, I almost said Seth Meyers, Seth Rollins, he picks up Seth Rollins, pats him on the chest, and he walks away. So there's a little mind game going on. We know there's a feud that's brewing. Absolutely.
There's no question about it. And they have to. I mean, that's really the two guys they have left. And the only other guy would be Daniel Bryan. Where does he go?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
He's the one guy. I think Rollins and Orton will be a match. But where does Daniel Bryan end up? That's what the next 4 weeks are going to be, finding him a opponent for WrestleMania. I
think it's going to be Sheamus. I think Sheamus is going to come back as a heel. I think he's going to be a member of the Authority. And we're going to see Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan 3, and should be a good match. And I don't think it's going to end in a couple seconds either.
My WWE Network, old school. We watched Heatwave 98 ECW was the last one, right?
Wow. Yeah, that was. But yeah. You told me about those.
So guys. Since that time, I think we went and watched Heatwave 97.
Okay.
So we went back a year and watched another old ECW.
Wow.
Heatwave.
VHS quality, the whole 9 yards.
Well, the network's not that bad. The only thing that bothers me with the old ECW is the music, because the ECW used real songs. WWE doesn't pay for the royalties, so they don't use the real song.
There are some DVDs out there that do that too. Some of WWE's library, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Some of the theme music they don't have the rights to, but that's a shame. But anyways, good matches though, right?
Awesome stuff. You had New Jack come in playing with the Natural Born Killers theme. Now they play that the whole time.
Yeah.
Remember, New Jack was famous for having Natural Born Killers play his whole match.
Right.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
It was the match with Taz when he fought Bam Bam Bigelow.
And that was in that pay-per-view?
In that pay-per-view, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
was one of the matches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, by the way, Bam Bam Bigelow. So, all good things. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at TomMorgan1049 as well as Sojo1049 FM.
At Mike Gill Show, and we got a lot going on between now and the end of the road to WrestleMania. We'll have a couple guests coming up, and we'll also...
Who are these guests?
We have, we got...
I've been coming back from vacation. I know nothing that's going on.
Well, Andrew Goldstein's going to be on again with us, and that was one of our better shows that he filled in for you the week you were gone.
Right.
And he said that he would like to come back on. He got great feedback from that show. We were supposed to have Shawn Michaels on, but I was sick. So that got messed up. We're going to try to reschedule something with him. We're also working on a couple others leading up to WrestleMania. So
it's exciting stuff. The road to WrestleMania continues on. Hashtag Pillar to Post on Twitter.
Number two.
Very important. Pillar to Post.
Don't watch Fastlane if you missed it. It wasn't worth it. Although watch the Sting segment. That was pretty cool.
I'm so glad I didn't go over to your house and stay up till 11 o'clock and then get up at 3 o'clock the next morning for this paper.
I was
by the way.
not happy. All right, that's Pillar to Post. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully they give us a little better picture because I don't know that much is really painted very well leading us up to the road to WrestleMania.